everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Combat Society. I'm here with Tyrone, I'm Madison, and we're back after another weekend of great fights. UFC 239 in Las Vegas, headlined by Jones and Santos. How did you feel this one compared to UFC 238?
I think it was way better. One of the best cards of the year. We keep saying that the next card is the best card, but it's really true. Since they've gone into ESPN, the fights have been better and better every time. So
yeah, it was awesome. The main event, that was a back and forth battle. We had Jorge Masvidal and Ben Askren was the people's main event, like we had in the last card. You know, we had another people's main event, and obviously Amanda Nunes. But we'll get into the main event, Jon Jones versus Santos. What a back and forth battle it was, and we're really big on Santos's performance. We thought he did a really good job combating Jones's style, and with what happened to his knee in the fight, he did a great job. At mitigating Jones as much as possible. He lost a split decision, but he won on one of the judges' scorecards, which was unbelievable. Never happened before.
yeah, that's the thing. This is the first time that Jones has ever lost on a judge's scorecard. If you haven't seen the fight, what happened in the fight? Pretty much, Jones was playing a kickboxing game with Santos. They're pretty much just exchanging leg kicks the whole fight. Jones wasn't entering the hand range at all. And honestly, Jones, he won. I definitely thought he won, but it wasn't an impressive performance by Jones. Probably one of his least favorable performances in his whole career, for sure. He tends to want to fight the fight at what his opponent's the best at, which is striking, and that's okay to do that for Jones. But if you're going to be doing that, you want to be winning dominantly, and if you're not, then it just leaves for a really sour taste in your mouth. Like, I'm not too excited to see Jones fight again, really. I'm not, after his most dominant performances, you want to just see him back in there, but he can take a rest, and I don't even care at this point. As you said, with Santos, the knee, tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so his knee, ESPN reported, it was Mark Raimondi. I'll just quickly show you the article here, but it says in it that he tore his ACL, his MCL and his PCL, as well as his meniscus during that fight. But then Dana White posted on his Instagram that it was actually just ACL, meniscus, and then he broke his tibia. It was a tibia fracture. So we're not actually sure. Sometimes Dana's wrong, but ESPN reported on it. So we're not really sure what he did, but we know he did severe damage. And, if he didn't get injured there in that first round or second round, whatever it was, he may have had a huge chance of taking the belt there, because he looked really good in that first round. Definitely won that first round, we thought. And amazing. We thought Santos was going to come out, blitz him. He didn't do that. It was a measured approach, and we didn't expect that from Santos. So props to him. I'd like to see him perform again. If he can perform at that level, compete with Jones. We don't know what Jones was thinking there. He could have been really scared of that power, and that makes for sometimes a boring fight. But I thought it was quite entertaining to see a guy like Santos really put it to, the greatest ever.
Yeah, well, if you notice in the fight, every time Jones would actually enter for clinch or elbows or just strikes with his hands, he was really walking into big power. He didn't get clipped with it much. I think he got clipped with it, once or twice on the glove.
Most were probably missing.
Nothing clean, but Jones was definitely aware of it, and he was very hesitant. The more he threw it out there, the less Jones entered the range. And obviously, as you said, Santos was compromised, and we don't know how well he would have done if his knee was good, because he did injure it first round, even though he did win the first round. And Jones, that's what I'm saying, it's not the best performance from Jones. We had a compromised Santos, and Jones couldn't put him away. It was actually a really close fight, even though it was a boring fight. Now, Jones had many opportunities to go for takedowns, which is probably what he should have done, gone for the takedown, but he's got this little sort of ego about him that he has to beat the guy at his own game, and not the best strategy for Jon. Yeah,
it'll be a little bit of a, he'll go into his next camp trying to correct those errors. So what do you think's next for him? Like a likely opponent? Who do you see coming up? We see Dominic Reyes at the number 4 spot, 4 or 5 ranked. He seems like the most logical opponent.
Well, you got Dominic Reyes, you got Johnny Walker, obviously Anthony Smith and Santos are there, possibly a rematch with Santos, but not right away. You got guys even lower down there, Jimmy Crute. These guys are coming up. I think the next possible fight for Jones should be, he should fight DC. I think DC is going to want that fight now even more than ever. DC's watching that and thinking, Jones is definitely beatable. I can beat him this time. And even those younger guys in the division are thinking, wow, Jones maybe is beatable. And look, Jones can really fight anybody at this point. It doesn't really matter. But I hope next time he comes out, he can really put on a dominant performance and show that he actually is really the best in the world.
Yeah, because
we all know him to be.
Sure, but he definitely got put on, on notice there, because he's going to be really thinking that, wow, I nearly lost the belt here, and coming into his next camp, this could make him fire, like really fire more than ever, and put the division.
More than just winning. John wants to prove that he's better than you in every way, and I think next time Jones comes out, he's going to want to prove that he is better than his opponent in every single way, and he wants to win dominantly, and I think that's what he'll do. But in terms of who's going to fight next, he wants to fight in December. We don't know. Santos, he's going to be injured.
A lot of talk with Adesanya.
Well, that fight could happen, but I don't think Adesanya will take that fight. Jones will take it in a heartbeat, I think. But
100%.
but Adesanya's got the title fight. Even after that, I don't think he'll take it. I don't think Adesanya's in his league at all, and I think Adesanya knows that as well. That's right, as you said, he's got to get past Rob, which is we don't know if that'll happen either. So
yeah, definitely. Now we'll get into the co-main event. This was also an awesome finish from Amanda Nunes, head kick. One of Holly Holm's favorite techniques, and she put her out. And amazing, this woman Amanda Nunes is one of the greatest fighters ever. Not even just women, she's one of the greatest fighters ever. She's beat everybody who's a champ previously, and wow, she keeps continuing to impress. And people later, coming into the fight towards the end, as the fight was closing in, people were giving Holly Holm a chance. They were saying, you really got to respect her. But, Holly Holm did look good, but she just found that opening. And Amanda Nunes is just far superior to anyone else in women's MMA.
Absolutely. This is the last champion that Amanda needed to beat, former champion. She's beat all the other women champions in those two weights. And as you said, really dominant performance. She was going to the body with the kicks, and then she went up high. And that's a tried and true method of getting knockouts. You go to the body and then you go to the head. And it's been proven time and time again. And what can you say? She's obviously cemented herself as the greatest women fighter we've ever seen. And really, there's no one else for her to fight. She's when you talk about completely destroying a division or divisions, she's done that. She hasn't just destroyed one division. She's destroyed two divisions in spectacular fashion, finishing every single opponent. Former champions. Chris Cyborg. She wants to fight Chris Cyborg again. Can you believe it?
Yeah,
she already destroyed Chris Cyborg in one round, and she wants to fight her again. She wants to prove to everybody that she can kill Cyborg.
Yeah.
And Cyborg doesn't want that fight. But in terms of what's for Amanda, she just needs to take a rest, enjoy her wins, and then get back in there and fight the next person. So
yeah. So what's next for Nunes? Potentially, we have Jermaine Durandamy versus Aspen Ladd. So the winner of that, which is next week, we'll talk about that later. Or Nunes there, like you said. Cyborg, like you said. Look, she can beat her twice. And that's really the only fight that is really going to garner the attention that she's kind of looking for at this point. Who's she going to fight? Jermaine Durandamy or Ladd? Is that Ladd? Nobody knows who Ladd is.
Yeah, she has 9-7. It's
Ladd has a great record.
Oh, does she?
Yeah, she has a great record.
Okay.
Jermaine Durandamy is about 8-3, I think. So these two fighters, they're good fighters. Jermaine Durandamy never lost the belt. She won the featherweight, the inaugural women's featherweight title, and then she gave it up.
She didn't want to fight Cyborg.
Yeah, she didn't want to fight Cyborg.
Yeah, that's right.
So look, if someone's going to challenge her, I think it's going to be Jermaine Durandamy, because she has that extensive kickboxing background.
She's very tall and long.
She's very tall and long, and that's I'm predicting. I won't get into my prediction of Aspen Ladd and Jermaine Durandamy. We'll wait for that. But look, there's some that she may be beatable. That's all I'll say at this point. She may be beatable, but we'll just have to see. As
you said, Holly Holm did look good early. She did look good. She was keeping her distance, circling away, peppering her with kicks, keeping her away with the jab. She was looking pretty good, but she fell into the trap, and that's all it takes. The trap of just going to the body and then going to the head. It makes you just believe that they're going to the body every time. Get knocked out. And that's what happens.
Now we get into the people's main event. What a great fight. We're looking forward to this one. Potentially more than the main event. It was amazing, this fight. Masvidal versus Askren. What a flying knee. KO. 5 seconds. The fastest ever in history. Wow. What a way to win. That was unreal. When I saw that, I couldn't believe it. I actually couldn't believe it.
Yeah, especially after all the trash talk. If you haven't seen it, it's in terms of fights you can watch so readily, it's the most readily available fight to watch right now. You can watch it on Twitter, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
5 seconds in, Masvidal has his hands behind his back, pretending like he's going to just take it easy, and then just starts running at Ben, and then just throws the flying knee. And it was timed so perfect that he knew Ben was going to go for the takedown. That's the first thing he's going to do, go for the takedown, and he ran into a knee, and that was it. Landed an extra 2 punches, which people say was controversial, but well within the rules, as the referee had not stopped the fight yet. The referee was on the other side of the octagon trying to get in, so it's completely fine to do that. There were another 2 brutal shots, and that's what happened.
That's the fight game.
Yeah.
And you can't come in that predictable. Askren, 19-0, he beat everybody else, but you can see when he got kneed in the head, he just came in, head down, not looking up, and he just went straight for the legs. So predictable. Yep. This is what Joel Romero was doing to people. Knocked out Weidman like this.
Yeah. And the thing is, you say about Joel Romero, Jorge Masvidal is very good friends with Joel Romero. They train together, and I find it hard not to believe that rubbed off on Masvidal a bit. If you watch if you've seen it, we can probably put it up. There's a little clip of training like 2 days before the fight. Masvidal's drilling that knee.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's drilling that knee. When the guy's holding a pad, he's drilling that knee. And when you're that predictable, that just goes back to it. Wrestling, obviously, it's very effective. Very, very effective. But
one of the most effective.
It is probably the most effective form of martial art that you can come into the MMA with. But you have to be unpredictable. If you look at other wrestlers who dominate, even a guy like Khabib, you know he's going to take you down. He doesn't do it immediately, though.
Sometimes he does against bad opponents.
Against mediocre guys, he can just shoot on you. That's fine. But even against guys, he'll stand there a little bit. He
can strike a bit better now.
He'll lull you in a bit, and then he'll just shoot. And then he will shoot. But if your opponent knows you're just going to shoot, first thing you're going to do, you're not even going to try and strike. You're just going to shoot. It's very easy to beat you. You can be the best wrestler in the world. You can be a 5-time gold medalist. You could be a 10-time boxing champion. Even if you're a boxing guy, if I know you're going to throw a right hand, if I literally know that, I will be able to win against you because I can just predict you and counter you. And that's the story. That's sort of the story of Ben Askren. I believe he has 2 losses now. I believe he lost to Robbie Lawler, and I believe that fight should have been stopped. And I believe now he's lost to Jorge Masvidal. I doubt whether he can beat anybody in the top 10 now. Honestly, after seeing that performance, he's not diverse enough. He's too predictable, and he sort of did get exposed there.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't pose any threats in the stand-up. He's not going to be able to put you out. He's not going to be able to really hurt you with his striking. Maybe in ground and pound, but what can he do to the likes of Darren Till, who's sharp striker?
That's the thing. If he's
Darren Till's so tall, you're going to get him to the ground. It's going to be very hard to beat these kind of guys.
Darren Till has a very good straight right hand.
Yeah.
If it goes down, left hand, sorry. It goes straight down the pipe. On a wrestler like that, when it's so precise like that,
he's got good kicks. He might walk into a... Yeah,
he needs to be able to take the guy down for sure. And if he's coming up against... He was going to fight for a title. He's going to fight Usman.
Give Robbie a rematch.
How is he going to beat Usman? Usman can defend the takedown and can strike really well as well. Same as Colby. Obviously, their striking is not elite, but it's good striking for a wrestler. It's good striking for a wrestler. It's just something that Ben doesn't have. He doesn't have that striking at all.
Definitely agree. Now let's talk about Masvidal and Colby. This situation that they're stuck in. They're 2 friends, and look, Colby's sitting 2nd, and Masvidal's sitting 4th now. Masvidal might rise up a little bit in the rankings. What are they going to do about this? I was watching Matt Brown, the coach of both of these 2, and he was saying they would only fight each other if it was a title fight. So that's pretty interesting. What's going to happen here? Who's going to get this shot?
Well, I've been listening to interviews from Masvidal. Even today, he was on Aerial, and so was Ben. Actually, Ben was on the Aerial.
Yep.
So he's pretty
good
confident.
To see him.
Yeah, he's out and about. He doesn't really.
Doesn't look like he's affected that much.
Doesn't affect it that
Probably
much.
has a massive headache.
But going back to Masvidal and Colby, Masvidal says that he'll fight any man. He'll fight any man, including Colby. They haven't actually been. Masvidal said that they haven't actually been training together recently because they know it's sort of brewing. There's no beef, but they sort of want to just keep their distance. Now, Masvidal did say today that if they give the shot, if Colby wins against, who's he fighting?
He's fighting Robbie Lawler.
If he wins against Robbie Lawler, and they give the shot to Colby, Masvidal will sit out and fight the winner of that. Of either Colby and Usman or Robbie and Usman. So he wants to sit out. He's not going. He said he will not take another fight until he's the next in line. So we don't know if that strategy will work. It hasn't. Sometimes that does fail. We even you look at Colby sitting out. The sitting out strategy does not always work.
Yeah.
Now there is no one really for him to fight right now. Could get in there against Tyron Woodley. Who knows?
Tyron Woodley's injured though.
Yeah, and they're from the same camp.
But yeah, do they like each other? We don't know.
I'm not sure, but that's a fight that probably wouldn't happen. There's no one really for him to fight. Maybe he could sit out, but yeah.
I think what's next for Masvidal has to be the title. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be right now, but I feel like his next fight should be the title.
Should be the title, yeah. But I think they probably will give it to Colby, even because he's been in line for so long and he's been getting good wins. Even though he hasn't fought recently, he's had some surgeries.
Yeah.
But I feel he should fight for the title next. Colby should, and then Masvidal should fight the winner of that.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion on it. Masvidal's he's only on a 2-fight win streak, so you have to keep that in mind. Colby's on a multiple fight win streak, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I can definitely see Colby getting it. Obviously, Colby has to win, get through a big tough opponent, and Robbie Lawler. So see about that. Now, Rockhold.
Rockhold, yes.
What do we have to say about Rockhold versus Jan Blachowicz?
Blachowicz came out with a really good performance, and he did. I was just thinking about this. The tried and true method to beat Luke Rockhold is the left hook, man. The left hook. Every time, man. 3 times now. He's been knocked out with the same punch.
Broken jaw
Twice.
Yeah, it's really bad.
2 fights in a row, broken jaw.
But he looked great. Rocker looked
He
great
was hunting.
early.
He was hunting. The thing is, Rockhold's a really good fighter. His grappling is elite. His offensive striking is elite. When he can hunt you, which is what he likes to do. He likes to hunt you and back you down and land strikes. Yeah. He's very good. He can beat anybody, but his defense is what lets him down, man. His defense. If he wants to fight with his hands down, which is okay if you have really good head movement and reaction speed, which he does not have. He hasn't got the head movement and he hasn't got the reaction speed. Now, if you want to fight with your hands down, at least keep one hand up, which would be with the right hand, because you know that left hook's coming. Because it's the closest when you're fighting an orthodox fighter, the left hand is always front. So it's the closest to you, so he can hit you quicker. So at least have the right hand up, so you can defend that. At least, but
it's just an ego thing. I think he gets overconfident. Maybe a tactical problem where he tried too hard for the takedown, which wasn't working for him.
Yeah.
Maybe have gassed himself a little bit.
Oh, I don't know.
He did try that. A bit of an extended period of time to where he was failing with the takedown.
Yeah.
Could have just kind of eased off and just landed strikes. Stick to the game plan. Keep your hands up. Didn't work for him. Should he retire? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he should. But going back to it though, so he's changed camps. He's not with AKA anymore. Well, he's still there, but he's not.
He's with Hard Knocks 365 with Henry Hooft.
So either I find it hard to believe that the boys at AKA, obviously they're elite, the coaches are elite, the fighters are elite, everybody's elite there. I find it hard to believe that they would not tell him to put your hands up. They would be telling him that.
Yeah, he gets it.
So we can agree that they're telling him that. So he's not doing it because either it's a habit or he's got a big ego.
I watch in his training footage, he hits bags with hands down. He does a lot of. Have you seen the sparring footage where he's got his hands completely down and they're just swinging at Hard Knocks 365?
It's what lets him down because he's a marketable guy, good looking guy, and he's a very good fighter as well. So he could have been he really could have been a star in the UFC.
And it could have been a good test for John Jones. All he needed to do was get maybe this one win. He just needed this one win.
Definitely, if he would have won this fight, he would have fought Jones. Guaranteed.
Yeah, it would have been great. It was perfect setup. Now we don't really have a marketable guy to verse John Jones, and he kind of screwed this opportunity, which is really unfortunate because we would have loved to see these two. But from this, we have to assume that John Jones would just maul him. He would just maul him. He would just catch him with something.
I think so for sure. And it's such an easy. I don't know if it's an easy thing to fix, but he should be really training in the aspect of of keeping his hands up. It's such an easy thing. If you just clean that up, that's just like one big hole. It's a small thing. It's just one thing. Yeah. But it's such an important thing.
Yeah.
Like literally his whole game is complete except for this one little thing that lets him down 3 times in a row now. So unfortunate for him. Should retire. He's got a career in
I reckon
modeling.
he can have one more fight. See how he goes. One more.
Look,
one more
he's fought at middleweight. 2 losses there. He won against Brunson.
Too many KOs.
Brunson. He got viciously knocked out
that
by...
was Branch.
Sorry. Viciously knocked out by Bisping. Viciously knocked out by Romero. Now viciously knocked out by Blachowicz. It's like, this is damage, man. And it's not like Dana White said
He's got a bad chin. You know, he might not be able to take a punch.
It's been cracked now. So these are big hitters at light heavyweight. And if you can't beat Blachowicz, he's really rising, but if you can't beat him, who can he beat?
Yeah, I agree.
After the weight change, he was claiming like, oh, I'm rejuvenated. I'm going to go hunt. I'm going to hunt. I'm going to be like I used to be when I was in Strikeforce. He was saying all this stuff like he's the best he's ever felt, and he's still lost. So retirement's the option, I think. Yeah,
could be a good option. Now, this was the opener of the main card. We had Chiesa versus Sanchez. We'll quickly talk about this one.
Yep.
A dominant performance from Chiesa.
Yep.
You know, couldn't finish him though. I was surprised he couldn't finish him. He should be able to finish an old Sanchez, but good. Holding in there from Sanchez.
Yeah.
Held in there, didn't get subbed, but Chiesa did.
I believe Chiesa probably should have got the finish there because Diego Sanchez is a very small welterweight.
Yeah, he was huge. It was, Sanchez doesn't get thrown around a lot, and he was thrown around. By
Chiesa's a very good move for him up to welterweight. He's looking better. Looks better. He looks big for the weight.
Yeah.
Even though he was big for lightweight, and now he's at welterweight, and he still looks big. And he was pretty much. I don't know if it was a difference in skill. It was just more of because there was a lot of grappling and a lot of jiu-jitsu exchanges, but I don't think it was a difference in skill. I think it was more a difference in like just power. He was able to just like ragdoll him a bit and put him where he wanted to, because Diego Sanchez wasn't really copping much damage. He was really active off the bottom, but every time he tried to get up, he'd just get taken back down, and he really couldn't do anything. He wasn't able to implement his game plan at all.
Yeah, for Sanchez, I think he can have another fight. Some people were saying retirement, but like he didn't cop much damage. He's not copping damage. He's won a few fights.
Yeah.
He lost this one, but look, if he wants to fight and it's his passion, just fight.
Well, he's moved camps. He's training with. He's not with Jackson Wink anymore.
I'm not sure where he is actually.
Yeah, he's training with this guy he met.
Oh.
So it's just random guys. I think he was previously a movement coach, but now he's Diego Sanchez's head coach. Oh. Even leading up to this fight, he said this guy's like giving me new life. And even though Diego Sanchez is pretty old, he's obviously got inducted to the Hall of Fame for his fight with Clay Guida, but he's got nothing left to prove. But if he wants to give it one more shot with this guy, I think that'd be fair.
Yeah, I agree. I like Diego Sanchez. Great fighter.
Yeah.
We'll get inducted into the Hall of Fame one day.
100%.
Now we'll get into some of the top fighters under 25. We saw some good young fighters in this. We saw Arnold Allen against Gilbert Melendez.
Yep.
Put on a great decision win against a veteran. He's only 25, I believe.
Yep.
Arnold Allen from England. We saw Yadong Song, 21 years old. Massive KO against Perez. He's from China.
Yeah.
A young guy coming up from China that I think I'm not sure what, I think they were saying he something about, there was some record that he did with some Chinese thing. I'm not sure. I can't remember right now. But Edmund Shabazian.
Yeah. Wow.
21 as well.
He had a great win, yes. That was a submission
Armenian,
win, yes.
Yep. Rear naked choke of Jack Marshman.
Yeah,
so we have some really good young fighters. He's middleweight. Song's bantamweight. And Arnold is featherweight. So he's got some really good rising talent coming up.
Yeah, for sure.
Song's won like a lot. I think he's won like 4 or 5 of his last UFC fights. Edmund is undefeated.
Yep.
And Arnold Allen's only lost 1 fight, and he's on a good streak now, I believe. Yep. So we got some really good rising talent. These guys are all under 25. We also had Cheeto Vera, who's 26. So these guys young too. Yes. He had some problems early in his career. Lost a few fights in a row, but now he's revitalized. But that brings us on to the winners and losers of the biggest winners and losers of UFC 239. We'll kick it off with Cheeto Vera, one of the biggest winners of the card. He had a huge win over Nolan Hernandez with the sub. He came back a little bit. It was back and forth and then won. He's on a 4-fight win streak, 4 or 5. We also had Jorge Masvidal, who's obviously
one of the biggest winners. Yes,
one of the biggest winners. Put him in that stardom. He's huge now. Everybody knows about Jorge Masvidal.
Yep.
That knockout was everywhere. Now the biggest losers, Ben Askren and Luke Rockhold.
100%.
Two of the biggest losers.
100%.
Ben Askren loses a lot of stock here. His stock goes down.
Way down.
It's his big loss. That was kind of his thing. He's never lost.
Yeah.
When you lose, it was kind of like the boxing thing. You lose, you kind of fall out.
Honestly, with Ben Askren coming into this fight, I had some serious dislike for his attitude. I felt like he wasn't taking it serious, man. Like he just he was approaching it like a wrestling match. Like there's no danger. Like really, it's like he had that sort of laid back sort of attitude about it. Like nothing can happen to me. It's like I'm just gonna be able to take him down. Like he didn't consider all possibilities. And it made me dislike the way he was going about it. But even but today watching him come on Aerial, speaking about it, I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like he sort of redeemed himself in terms of how he's taking the loss. So
sure, yeah. And Luke Rockhold, as we said, another biggest loser.
Yeah.
Potentially retirement is the next option for him. So those are the biggest losers. Now we'll get into some other news from around. Obviously, we saw John Lineker got released from the UFC, to some people's surprise, but if you actually look at his history, he's missed weight over 5 times, pulled out of his last fight at UFC Greenville, Moicano versus Chan Sung Jung.
Yeah.
He pulled out. He was supposed to versus Rob Font. Pulled out again. I think he's pulled out of probably 6 or I don't know, he's missed weight 6 times.
And he doesn't win that often too either, does he? He wins.
He wins sometimes. People like him because he's entertaining. He throws big power. But Dana White was saying that he's not showing professionalism. He's pulled out. He keeps getting missing weight. He's not very professional. If you miss weight 6 or 7 times in your career, I'm not that against cutting you. That's my opinion.
He's not a guy who wins all the time. And if you're missing, as you said, if you're missing weight and you're not, you're exciting when you do fight, but you don't win all that time. The UFC is the elite.
Yeah.
So we need elite fighters.
But the big news is he signed with one championship. He's not a bad fighter. He's gonna attract some attention at one championship. They're signing some big guys, as we talked about before. Another UFC caliber, fighter, and that's pretty good. We'd like to see how he goes against. Or we'd like to see how the one championship. I want to see it. I want to see how he fares, or if the one, because we like to see where the one championship caliber's at. We like to see if it's actually better than the UFC, if it's as good.
It's nowhere near the UFC.
I think the one championship is the second best promotion in the world. I think I feel like it beats Bellator. These days I've been watching all their cards, and I really like the competition there. I feel like it's really improving. So we'll see how he goes in one championship in Asia. And also, bit of entertainment news. Dylan Dennis was sucker punched in a nightclub in New York City.
All right.
Yeah, he was punched in the face.
Was he?
Yeah, which is
by some random.
Yeah,
or a fighter?
We don't know. No, I don't think it was a fighter. He was in a New York City nightclub Sunday night after the fight, potentially. Wow. And yeah, there's a video of it, unbelievably, where he just gets banged right in the face. Doesn't go down or anything, but look, it's pretty weird. Just getting punched in the face in a club. Why?
He's probably talking smack or something. He's thinking he's the man.
Yeah, that guy does what he does.
A lot of people also, I've heard this. You do hear about it, that guys want to prove themselves when they see a fighter, especially when they're drunk at a club or a bar. They want to be like, oh, I'm the man to I think John Jones just said that, people try him and stuff because he's they just want to I want to be the guy to get that lucky get that king hit on this champion guy. That's what they do. It was
right on the face. It was just jumped over and it was like a Superman, boom, right in the face. Now next week we have Jermaine Durandamy versus Aspenlad in Sacramento, California.
Yep.
Women's bantamweight. So this is first versus fourth, as we were talking about before. Jermaine Durandamy is the first ranked. She's the number 1 contender in the women's bantamweight, and Aspenlad's the fourth. So it's safe to say that the winner of this could be the next in line for the bantamweight title against Nunes if she wants to defend that bantamweight soon. But as we said, they are not really draws. You know, they're not.
Yeah.
Is it enough? Look, Aspen Ladd's on a tear. She's been winning. Jermaine Durandamy, obviously a former champ. Oh, no, she did. She actually did. She lost to Jermaine Durandamy. Did lose to Amanda Nunes earlier in her career. She actually.
That's right. Yeah.
She lost by TKO, so she actually has beat all the former champions, which is pretty amazing. So we'll have to see Jermaine Durandamy if she is good enough to beat kind of the wrestling approach of Aspen Ladd. In that one, I'm going to have to favor Durandamy just because Aspen Ladd is a bit predictable. She's kind of like, she's got good striking, but she gets hit a lot. And if you're going to cop a hit from Jermaine Durandamy, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
She's a good kickboxer.
I'll go with Durandamy also. It's just a bit, she's taller, longer. Her striking is just more crisp. Aspen Ladd's, she's fierce, but I think the skill gap here is too much.
Yep. We also have the return of Uriah Faber. Yep. Interested to see how he goes. He said he hasn't been, away from the sport. He's been training. He's still been training since he left. And he's versing Ricky Simon, the 15th ranked.
Yep.
That is bantamweight. So what do you think? What do you think of Uriah Faber? Is it good to come back? You know, should you come back or...
I think ever since he retired, he's always he's been saying like he wants to come back. Like he wasn't really sort of done. Like he gave it like, I don't know, a couple of months, and then he was like, you know, you might see me back in there. And how old is he now? He'd be past 35 for sure.
37, maybe.
Yeah, he's
38.
pretty old. He's probably skilled enough to beat Ricky Simon, so I'm going to go with him.
You really think so?
I think so, yeah, because he's elite level. He's top 3. So in terms of his skill and what he's done, even though he was never a UFC champ, was he? No. But WEC champion, and I think he just has more experience. So I'm going to go with him.
Look, yeah, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. You know, you don't really know where this guy's at. You don't know if, because they say they've been training, but they're not training with that intensity, you know, intent to kill, you know? So, look, I think I have to go with Ricky Simon in this one just for that reason. I think Uriah Faber, you know, if you're not really confident, if you've retired once before, usually when you come back, you don't win. You know, look what happened to BJ Penn, some guys that have come back. Gilbert Melendez just lost.
Yeah.
I don't know if you just want to do it for yourself, that's fine. But there's hungry killers coming after you, and yeah, that's why I'm going to pick Ricky Simon. We also have a featherweight matchup on this card. We have Mirsad Bektic versus Darren Elkins. Not Darren Elkins, sorry, Josh Emmett, 9th ranked Josh Emmett versus Mirsad Bektic, 12th. We know Mirsad Bektic has a really well-rounded game plan. And he's got great wrestling. He's got great striking. Versing Josh Emmett, who packs a punch. He packs a big punch. He's knocked out some big guys. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a really tough featherweight matchup. Mirsad Bektic hasn't fought as much as we thought he should. He's 28 now. He came into the UFC like pretty young, and he's only fought like 6 times in 4 years. He really hasn't been fighting often, and this is a close one. What do you think?
I'm going to go
all-rounded approach?
I tend to always, not always, but I tend to go with the guy who has a more well-rounded skill set, simply because of the fact that's why I'm going with Bektic, because when you're more well-rounded, you have more ways to win, and when you have more ways to win, I believe your chance of winning is higher. So that's my reason.
Yeah, I think I have to go with Mirsad Bektic, but I wouldn't count out a big knockout from Josh Emmett, because look, you can do whatever you want. You can be all rounded, but if you can't stop someone's, punch coming at your head, you got to go out. And he's been knocked out before, one time by Darren Elkins when he was dominating that fight. Got complacent and he got knocked out. He got put on his ass and he was finished. So, look, you can never count out Josh Emmett and what he's done for that division. Other notable fights, we have Drakkar Klose. He was supposed to fight Dariush, who pulled out due to injury, so that's not announced yet. But when that gets announced, that'll be a good fight. And Darren Elkins is fighting. He's fighting Ryan Hall, so the jiu-jitsu guy. We like to see Darren Hall just because he's like that kind of specialist guy.
Yeah.
Will he put Darren Elkins in a heel hook immediately? It's good for the jiu-jitsu community. People actually watch Ryan Hall. They do. There's a big, jiu-jitsu community that really watch Ryan Hall. A lot of people tune in to see how this guy goes because he's representing that jiu-jitsu community. And what do you think of that matchup? Darren Elkins is just the damage. He just puts it on you, puts the rest up. Do you think he'll get subbed? Because we know that's what...
He has to get it to the ground, and I'm pretty sure...
Imanari roll? Does he need a... You could do Nasi Minari roll.
Did one?
No, he was they're calling it the Ryan Hall roll because it wasn't exactly a Minari.
Right. So
if he gets that
if he gets that, then he might be able to. But in terms of getting a takedown against Alkins, he's pretty good with his takedown defense. He doesn't get taken down too often.
You just got to be wary of the legs.
That's the thing, yeah. If he gets a hold of the legs,
that's his main.
Look, honestly, like lately, we've been seeing when these jiu-jitsu guys like Dennis, Hall, whatever, Gracie, Krung Gracie,
Gary Tonin,
like they tend to be able to they're able to get the takedown, and once it's on the ground, it's over. Yeah. We haven't seen it very often where these pure jiu-jitsu guys actually lose.
Because these guys are different. They're a bit more. They're like the new generation jiu-jitsu,
like
which
competitive
is like
no-gi guys who are into the leg locks and that. Who knows?
Yeah,
it's not something that these traditional jiu-jitsu guys really see that often in terms of the kind of creative stuff that they can throw at you.
Yeah. So with this one, look, if we know Brian Hall cannot strike, he can't strike. Darren Elkins can really strike. He can really put it on you, but if Ryan Hall can really get through this guy and actually sub him, you have to take this guy legitimately. He's a real threat.
Of course, yeah.
If he can actually beat Darren Elkins, who's legitimate, proven in the division, was on like a 4-5 win streak before he lost to Volkanovski. Dude, that is legit, and I respect that highly from a guy who's just a jiu-jitsu guy, and if he can do that,
yeah, for sure.
So that one is UFC Sacramento. It's next weekend. It's not a great card. What do you think, like, overall? How does this card rank? Like, it's just...
Look, it's pretty average, to be honest with you. Nothing special, but potential for some good fights. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. So that's all we got time for. Make sure you check out all of our social media. Combat Society, AUS. All the links are in the description. So check out our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything. We're on there, posted there. Pretty much daily.
Yep.
We have some good content and we'd like you to check it out. So we'll be back next week for the fights. Check it out. Catch you guys.